3x, 3x to the 3x Lex. Right back at you with another one. Alright guys, here today to do a deep dive on the new Ultimate Pi 400 build. Okay, if you've been watching my channel, you know I've released a couple videos concerning this build already, and I haven't really gone in depth yet, and at least listed all of the systems, platforms, and games that are available on it. But I've just done more of surface level talk so far, so I wanted to do more of a deeper dive as to what exactly you'll be getting if you get this particular build for your Retro Plus 43-inch Retro Plus arcade gas cabinet. So when you first get this build, essentially how it's going to work is you're going to swap your SD card in your Pi with the new SD card that's sent, and once you hook it up, you'll be prompted to set up your controller, and you can set button map as to what buttons you want for each controller and stick. After you do that, it'll pretty much be set and hard coded for all of the platforms from what I see so far. So far I haven't had to go into each platform and button map and set up the buttons for each platform. It's been pretty much mapped according to the initial map that I set up when I first started this build. Now, it has a lot of games on this build. It's one of the biggest ones I've seen so far. It's over 30,000 games. I think it's somewhere in excess of 33,000. The Naomi section alone has 181 games. It's probably like the nicest Naomi section I've seen thus far, to be honest with you. And it's just really detailed, and all of the games seem to run well in the Naomi section. They run really smooth, like Border Down. This was something on the Virtual Man build. This isn't even on the Arcade Guys build, but on the Virtual Man build, Border Down was very choppy, very inconsistent. It was playable, and in some ways, having a shooter that's playable and that still has a little slowdown or whatever isn't too bad of a situation. That's what I want to say. Having a 2D shooter with a little slowdown isn't necessarily bad. I don't really mind that in shooters. Now, fighting games is another story, but in 2D shooters, as fast and difficult as they are, I actually don't mind a little slowdown, even though it kind of takes away from the originality. But it was kind of excessive, and it was kind of marring the game to a degree, to be honest. But on this build, man, this game pretty much runs perfect. It's like pretty much just like playing the original game, playing on a hyperspin system. It runs perfectly. You guys can see how smooth this game runs. Graphics look great on this game. Like, what this Pi can emulate, I'm running a small overclock, so this is running at 1750 megahertz. That was pretty much hard coded in the build when I got the build from him. So that helped immensely for all of these games on this system. So This is a great game too. Really, really, really great 2D shooter. Looks great. Plays phenomenal. One of the great Dreamcast games. And it actually never made it over to the States on a home platform. I know we ended up getting Ikaruga on GameCube at that time. But I really would have liked to see Border Down come over. I really like the gameplay, graphics. It was a unique shooter too, a one-player shooter. It's very unique. Just a gem of a 2D shooter. I can play this all day, man. Love it. So, moving along. Like all of the Capcom vs. SNK games run great on this build. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 runs great on this build. Confidential Mission runs great. The Naomi section on this, only issues, one of the games I ran into an issue with was Virtual On. Now, for you guys not familiar with Virtual On, it was a mech game that kind of started out in the early to mid 90s. Model 2 game. I believe it eventually came to Saturn, and then they had a sequel, Ontario Tegrum, and it eventually came out on Dreamcast. Phenomenal mech fighting game. I really, really liked that game at the time. It had a twin stick setup that you needed to play with it. The sticks never came out in America for the Dreamcast version, so a lot of guys imported the sticks. I had the sticks back in the day. One of the greats, man. Phenomenal game, very deep, very, very unique fighting game for the time, and just phenomenal. Unfortunately, it does not run on this system. For some reason, the ROM boots, it plays, but when you actually start the game, it just runs like, oh man, it runs at a snail's pace. So it just ruins it. So basically, I've talked to him about that. He's gonna probably look into doing that because he's doing me another build really soon. So a lot of the things, I've gone through this build pretty extensively. I have noticed some things that don't work, and I'll be reaching out to him about that for my new build. But in the grand scheme of things, with how many games are on this, it's to be expected. Like, you can't get any emulation setup or device or PC and you're not running the like games that don't have issues. It's not going to be possible. It's too many games to play test, and it's a lot, you know. It's a whole lot. Really, to get something that refined, you pretty much have to have your own in-house software. I don't want to say developers, but software beta testers and debug guys to be able to like really stay on top of everything like that. Now, some of these independent builders and game companies could do this. Now, the builder of this particular build, I wouldn't expect that. He seems to be a one-man shop, so it's understandable. But like some of these companies that have had success, hey, I'm gonna make another video soon with be prepared for an epic rant too about that. But It's been a lot of complaints in this game, like in the home arcade game, and I've been noticing that in a lot of different arcade Facebook groups and stuff. People complaining about software, this, that, and other. I'll talk about it in another video though. Anyway, Dead or Alive runs great. Shangri-La, Seiko no Ronde, the Guilty Gears, F355 Challenge, Melty Blood, like all of those games run good. Under Defeat runs great. Yeah, Seiko no Ronde, man. Hey, phenomenal game. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Virtual On, but just kind of in space and elevated in the air. Extremely cool game, and it runs phenomenal on this build too. So definitely check this out if you get this build. There's a lot of exclusive content on this build, and as I mentioned before, this build really kind of closes the gap for having a PC-based cabinet. Now, again, like I mentioned before, I would not jump out of the window and say, oh, I would rather have this than a PC-based cabinet. A good PC-based cabinet is going to open up just way more platforms at this time. More games, more platforms. But it bodes well for the future of single-board computers in these cabinets and the Pi 5 that's coming too. Because I'm really impressed with how well these games run on this particular system. And I'll be honest, like this particular build, like this build should be coming with the arcade gas cabinet, to be honest, because it's that freaking good. All right, that's Seiko no Ronde. Hey man, phenomenal game. The original and the sequel. Hey man, phenomenal games. Like I said, it's kind of like Virtual On and what's the other game? Psychic Force. Psychic Force was pretty cool too. But it's kind of like Virtual On and Psychic Force. So pretty cool game though. Definitely check that out. The Giant Graham game's on here. Treezell is on here, man. Treezell is badass, man. Hold on, where's Treezell at? This is a real dope 2D shooter. I'm gonna show you guys Treezell right quick. Definitely dope. Naomi based 2D shooter. The cool thing about this is the ship transforms in 3 different transformations. So you get the standard bullet hell spread. You can switch to the missiles like this, or you can shoot the lasers. So, and like you just basically get power ups and stuff. So it just makes the weapon stronger. But you basically have 3 weapons. It kind of almost reminds me of a Radiant Silver Gun a little bit in that aspect. And anyway, that's Trizel. Phenomenal 2D shooter. Check it out, man. Another thing too, I was gonna say, man, Under Defeat, great 2D shooter. Check that out. I really like that. Graphics look great and it runs perfect too. Hey, man, House of the Dead just runs phenomenal, man, on this build. Like if you run House of the Dead on the arcade guys build, man, that game's a total slideshow on there, man. I'll start it up so you guys can see it. But it's just a total slideshow, man. It runs pretty much perfect on this build, man. I had this game. I played this game a ton in the arcade. I had the Dreamcast version for a long time. I had this on my Hyperspin setup before, and hey man, this thing is pretty much perfect on here. Like this build and this overclock and this setup, man, really pushes this power to its limits, man. Like from what I'm seeing out of here, it's just really, really impressive. So as you can see just from the intro, just how much smoother everything's running, man. Because it's just a slideshow, even watching the intro on the arcade guys build. So yeah, man, phenomenal, phenomenal. Anyway, like I say, almost 200 Naomi games, big improvement there. Neo Geo section is solid, is what you expect. Everything works. It does have Nintendo DS on here, 252 games. I've tested a good fair amount of them. They seem to work. Now, the controls on the DS games, this is the one platform where it's going to need some modifications on the controls because it needs some adjusting. I was able to play some of the games, but a lot of them was, kind of hit or miss with the controls. But I know that's just because I didn't have them set up. I haven't really spent a lot of time in that section, to be honest. But all the games run smooth, though. All of the regular platforms like Nintendo, Sega Genesis, it's over 2,000 Nintendo games. Neo Geo Pocket, Pocket Color, like all these games run good. The PC Engine games run good. Everything 16-bit and back is golden on this build, just like it pretty much is on all the builds. So all of that stuff works good. Sega CD, PC Engine. Now the PSP games, it's 60 PSP games. They run good. From what I've noticed. Blaze Blue runs good. I was playing Blaze Blue earlier. It runs really good on here. The Grand Theft Autos run good. Guilty Gear Judgment runs good. Soul Calibur runs good on here. Yeah, I had Siphon Filter on there, Dark Mirror back in the day. Very good game. Cool game that's included on here too is X-Men Legends 2. Hold on. Yeah, X-Men Legends 2. Great action RPG of that era. They had a lot of those, 1, 2, and then they had a few spin-offs. Hey, this is a great game to have on this cabinet, especially considering the Pi doesn't really do PS2. A lot of those games ended up getting ported of that era that was on PlayStation, Xbox, and GameCube. A lot of those games got ported to PSP. So since the Pi, this overclocked Pi seems to do well with the PSP games. Hey man, this is like a phenomenal section to have, Definitely. So it's a good amount of PSP games, so it brings a really good amount of variety to this cabinet because a lot of more current to next gen games are kind of lacking. So the PSP category kind of helps makes up for that somewhat. Nightmare. Let's do it.
Only the strongest.
The cool thing is, too, all these disc-based systems had load times back in the day of this era. Like, the load times are pretty much non-existent, man. You see how fast that loaded? I'm a big Soul Calibur fan. This was definitely my game back in the day. Soul Edge, Soul Blade, Soul Calibur, especially hit Dreamcast, it went crazy. So I'm happy to see this game, because the PSP had some exclusive Soul Calibur and Tekken games. So being able to play those on the arcade cabinet is sweet, man. Graphics, for the age of this game, and considering the portable, it's a handheld, the graphics look phenomenal on this game, man. Yeah, wow, look at the backgrounds. Graphics look great. Oh, damn, look at that. Oh, look at that. Ha ha. All right, I can play that all day. So, yeah, Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, man. Definitely check this out on PSP. For sure. Yeah, Ridge Racer is on here. Runs really well. The PSP section, man, I'm really impressed with it, man, to be honest. Like, you won't be... also, yeah, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance is on here, too. And I've neglected to mention that initially. So, yeah, if you're a fan of those games, and they were like PS2 era games, Xbox games, Dreamcast games, phenomenal action RPGs, man. Definitely check it out. Oh yeah, Sega Saturn, 104 Sega Saturn games are included. Now, Sega Saturn is a very, how can I put this? It's a difficult system to emulate. Just like N64, you really need a nice PC to emulate these games here. I give them respect for including this section, but I didn't have high expectations going in. And I'll be honest, a lot of the games do run well on the Sega Saturn build, but I know this platform is very difficult to emulate. So I'm not really surprised that the games are some games are inconsistent. The biggest killer to me though is that I got mixed feelings about is Radiant Silvergun. It's on here, and hey man, this was my game, and I was pleased to see it included. But it does run, but I mean, this is just because this platform has such a unique architecture and build that it's very difficult to emulate. So I haven't seen it emulated properly on a single board PC. I haven't seen it emulated properly on pretty much anything except a PC with a good RAM and a really good video card and great processor. It does run, but hey man, it just runs extremely slow. It does speed up to normal at sometimes, but this is, hey man, this is the shooter. This isn't a shooting game, this is the shooter.